Welcome to Dead Space, a game you absolutely should not play if you have a high blood pressure. You play as Isaac Clarke, an engineer in the year 2508, answering a distress call aboard a mining ship known as the USG Ishimura. You are joined by Kendra Daniels, a computer analyst, Zach Hammond, the chief security officer, and a couple of nobodies to beef up the body count, because this isn't any ordinary distress call. This ship is overrun with necromorphs. It's up to you to become an expert surgeon within 10 minutes to hold these creatures off and put your engineering skills to use, fixing up the ship and finding a way out for you, your crew, and your girlfriend who happens to be a scientist aboard the space station. Now, I went into Dead Space absolutely blind, and I can confidently say that this is the way to go. From the atmosphere and gameplay to the overall story, I was immersed from start to finish. Dead Space pulls no punches whatsoever, and it's made for one of my favorite video game experiences in a long time. Right from the opening, the game quickly gives you all the information you need to know and sends you on your way, wasting absolutely no time and getting you straight into the game and scaring you straight.
So we can do the maintenance bay or the cargo hold storage. Where does the game want us to go? I'm not sure. Okay, so they want us to go to the maintenance bay, but I kind of want to explore. Let's go over here. Alright, so the maintenance bay.
After watching Chen get bodied and being separated from your crew, you are immediately given your first weapon in the plasma cutter and a message written in blood that says cut off their limbs. An instantly iconic image that essentially tells you how to play the game. You see, headshots and blows to the midsection don't actually affect the necromorphs, so your best bet is to turn every single enemy into quadriplegics. You'll also find different kinds of weapons throughout the game, such as the pulse rifle, the flamethrower, and my personal favorite, the Ripper.
Alright, I'm getting surrounded. Time to bust out the Ripper. Man, the Ripper is so OP. I love it.
The name of the game here is inventory management. You can only carry 4 weapons at once, and your ammo takes up slots, so be sure to keep that in mind. And don't expect this game to be easy as well. Every time I found myself getting just a little bit comfortable, the game decides to introduce you to new enemy types. You have your basic slashers, but over time you'll come across new ones like lurkers and spitters. You have Big Ben, Charlie, Sebastian, and of course Steve. So you'd better stock up on medkits so you don't end up dying to these bozos. Along with your weapons, you'll find that you have a couple of other abilities that can be used for combat and mostly for puzzles. These abilities happen to be Stasis and Kinesis. Stasis is used to slow things down, while Kinesis is used to pick things up and throw.
And I was reaching for the fire extinguisher, but this will have to do. Oh my god, did he get stuck to the wall? Jesus. Oh. You got absolutely destroyed. I guess just rub some Vicks on it, you'll be good to go.
You'll also notice around this point that there is no heads-up display to clutter up your screen. Isaac's health bar is actually located on his back, being integrated into his suit, making it visible at all times without blocking your vision. Your reticle for aiming and your ammo count are both on the weapons you carry, but they only appear when you aim down sights. Objective markers kind of work similarly in that they are manually activated with Isaac's suit. These are small details but do a great job at actively immersing you into the game. Your health, ammo, objective marker, inventory slots, map, it's all part of the game. So when you're looking at these things, the game doesn't actually pause, so be wary. Necromorphs love to sneak up from behind and try to penetrate your asshole.
Okay, I'm gonna need you to stay back there. Don't come closer, please. I don't... Whoa, what do you think you're doing back there, buddy? No. Okay, I'm being jumped. I'm being bullied.
Enemies can drop ammo and small med packs, but you also get these by looting the environment. Sometimes these small looting areas are also death traps set by the developers because they hate you.
I gotta be honest, this music is making me hella uncomfortable. Why is it going crazy? I feel like something's about to sneak up on me. Motherfucker! Die! Jesus!
This is actually part of a tool the devs have implemented into the game called the Intensity Director. And to keep it simple, this feature is designed to keep you on your toes, never letting you get comfortable without overwhelming you. This covers things like dynamic atmospheric effects such as lighting changes and fog, but mostly this changes enemy spawns. So if you haven't had an enemy encounter for a while, the game decides to spice things up and ambushes you in random spots. This creates countless amounts of scenarios and ensures that every player has a different experience no matter how many times you play the game. I absolutely love this feature. It makes the pacing of the game feel consistent and it keeps tensions high, never letting the game get dull at any moment. Going back to the story, throughout the game you're being guided by Hammond and Daniels through your comms, so whenever something needs to get done, they just put you on the task instead of actually going out to do it themselves. So really you're just doing small, minute things with the eventual goal of getting off the ship. This might sound boring, but in actuality it's pretty fun. The gameplay and atmosphere really carry you through the game, but those of you wanting an in-depth story with layered characters will also be satisfied here. As you make your way through the ship, you'll uncover secrets and learn the reasoning behind all the chaos and madness going on. You end up discovering that the planet the ship is orbiting and mining, Aegis 7, has been quarantined for centuries. The crew of the Ishimura weren't actually running a mining operation, but instead went to the planet to retrieve an artifact called the Red Marker. I know, it seems a bit on the nose. Essentially, the people on board the ship were part of a group called the Church of Unitology. They worship a black marker that they believe has the secrets to eternal life and rebirth or whatever. The point is, these people found a red marker and they think it's important. From this point, the entire rest of the game centers around this giant butt plug. Now, the reason I dumped all this lore on you is because I really wanted to highlight the storytelling in this game. Gameplay is a solid 99%. There aren't many cutscenes, and when there are, they end up being pretty short, so you can get back to the action as soon as possible. While I love cinematic storytelling, I think we need more games like this. Dead Space has the structure of a narrative game, but the entire story is told in dialogue and little collectibles. The game rarely pulls you out to shove exposition in your face. Instead, the deeper you go into the game, the more you peel back the layers of what's actually happening. I know what I'm talking about is simple, but I can't deny that it's effective. Immersion is the #1 priority with Dead Space, and every tiny minuscule decision made by the developers is meant to engage you into the game. After learning all this new information, you come across Dr. Mercer, one of the workers on board the space station and one of the leading causes of this necromorph outbreak. He's apparently been driven mad by the red marker, which can cause hallucinations and other kinds of things. So Mercer tries to kill you with this creature he created called the Hunter, or as I like to call him, Steve. And what separates Steve from the others is that he's the result of experimentation from Dr. Mercer, meaning that he can regenerate dismembered limbs, as if everything else wasn't bad enough. You escape him, but you don't kill him. And now all of a sudden there's poison gas leaking into the ship. And at this point in the game, I realized how much all the other survivors rely on Isaac. Everyone is hiding and trying to stay safe, and Isaac is the only one actively fixing the ship and fighting off necromorphs. He's a true badass main character. A survivor named Dr. Cross contacts you and helps you to get rid of the gas by killing these creatures called Weezers, which honestly look pretty cool, but they don't do anything. They just sit there on the floor pumping gas. But they aren't the leading causes of the poison gas, no. That's from the Leviathan. Coming across the Leviathan is a huge what the fuck moment for me. This entire time, I thought this game was centered around crazy space zombies, but at this moment, the game went into full Lovecraftian horror, and I knew I was in for something completely different. And it doesn't stop here. The game continues to flip the script on you from this point forward. And this ends up leading into a crazy second half of the game where the developers just throw everything they have at you. I've honestly debated with myself for a long time making this video about whether or not I should explain the second half of the game, but I've decided not to, because it's just absolutely worth playing through yourself. I mean, the original game released in 2008, but I'm sure there are plenty of people like myself who haven't gotten around to it yet and are looking to jump in with the remake. Basically, the point of this video is that Dead Space just feels like a really special game that doesn't feel as common anymore. A game that doesn't hold your hand and does everything in its power to scare the pants off of you. As someone who's a huge fan of the horror genre, I love seeing artists flex their creative muscles to scare their audiences. Whether it's in movies or games, this is a genre that remains timeless. What makes Dead Space special is that it wears its inspiration on its sleeve while still feeling entirely unique. I truly had a wonderful time experiencing Dead Space, and I'm pretty certain it's a game I'll end up replaying down the line. It's already become one of my all-time favorite video game experiences, and I hope this video did its job in making you either want to play the game for the first time, or feeling like a nice trip down memory lane. Either way, I had a ton of fun making this video, and I hope you had just as much fun watching it. I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll see you next time when we find out that, yeah, it really is goat cheese.